we want you to join us. We want you to join the Legion and help us tell this great story.
All right, we're ready to go. First of all, my name is Najir.
Hey, Najir, how you doing?
Good,
Rob
good,
Edwards.
good. Robert what?
Yeah, Rob Edwards.
Rob Edwards, and your
Yes.
title?
I'm the writer of Defiant.
Okay.
Before that, I wrote The Princess and the Frog, Treasure Planet, Full House, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
Yeah.
The Living Color.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of fun. So, yeah, right.
Legendary at this rate, right? So let's just get right into it. It's 2023, and you just named a library of things you've been a part of. Why right now was the time to tell this story, and how did we get to this point? Yes, we know about the Kickstarter, which is doing amazing numbers, just about 70K.
Kickstarter is amazing right now. Yeah, exactly. And the Kickstarter, basically, that's a great place to start because Kickstarter is the people talking. And this is a story that hasn't been told, you know? In fact, it's funny because what I tell it, people say, like, why don't I know this story?
Yeah.
I should be living this story. I should have a T-shirt or whatever, you know. I know all the other stories. Why not this one?
Yeah.
You know, it's so inspirational.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is, how can I help tell it?
Yeah.
You know, that's when Kickstarter comes in. That's why it's great that Legion M, you know, which is a company that's basically fan-based, comes in because we can tell the story the way we want to tell it.
Yeah.
And fortunately, everybody that we asked to come on board with us said yes.
Yeah.
So immediately, Michael Bulwer Moore, who is a descendant of Robert Smalls, said, "Yes, I will help you tell the story. I know all the stories about Grandpa." Dr. Maisha Eatman at Harvard was helping with research. She said yes. Nicholas Draper Ivey is doing the covers, the amazing Rembrandt covers.
Yeah.
He said yes. Ray Anthony Height, who is Black Panther and everything, he's the OG. Mm-hmm. He said yes right away.
Yep.
Chris Robinson is editing. Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
Everybody came in and wanted to help.
Yeah.
So that's what's amazing about it. You know, for me, because I've written all the other stuff, I know how to tell the story.
Yeah.
You know, I know how to tell a story of a black man to black people.
Yeah.
And to make it have warmth, have humor, have heart, those kind of things. It should not be dry.
Right.
We've seen this story told, whips and chains and the whole thing, and you feel so triggered, every time you see it.
Yeah.
And this is not that. This is inspirational.
Yeah, okay.
This is about a man who, when the boot was taken off of his neck, did amazing things.
Yeah.
Just his escape was phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It proved to Lincoln that black people should be in the military because it was so courageous, so well thought out.
Yeah.
He was redefining what we believe black people to be in his life, and here we are in 2023. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
It's time to hear this story.
Yeah.
So that's where it starts for me.
And I it's really interesting. You hit on a couple of things I really want to touch on. We've seen these and heard some of these stories, and it starts to go back down. Generational trauma that we're enduring.
Yeah.
And yes, these are stories that need to be told, and they are what they are, but it is good to hear success stories. It is good to hear the heroes, the unsung heroes, and the folks, the nameless folks that's done things. And most of the time is, in our, should I say in our families, but in our community, we hear these stories through the grapevine, so it's good to be seeing them now in the media. We're here at one of the biggest cons in the world, and as you said, the Kickstarter is the people, and people are talking.
And that's another reason to tell it as a graphic novel.
Yeah.
Because if it's just a book, it's dry. It's just like this happened, this happened, this happened.
Yeah.
If you're telling it as a graphic novel, you have to tell it as a story, and you have to tell the exciting parts too.
Yeah.
And so, you're right about like generational trauma and that thing. Like anytime you see these things, I mean, every time I go, I'm angry at the end, and I shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I'm just watching brutality. And yes, brutality was part of it, but brutality wasn't the whole story.
Yeah.
The real brutality was that people were using it as an excuse in order to be brutal. The nice people using, whatever, this as an excuse, so at some point they're not nice.
Yeah.
And that's that's racism as told from a black perspective.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, oh, hey, how you doing? What you doing over here? Like, nobody is that.
Yeah.
Nobody is that. It's always like, oh, I'm sorry, I'd love you to, you know, date my daughter, but, you know, the community.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's it's a different style of that. Well, you know, the gas is going to be more expensive. We don't serve here because, you know, well, the staff is, you know, whatever those things are. That was racism back in that day.
Yeah.
And so you tell it that way, but the best part of it is let you persevere.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have trauma in your life. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have all that is going to happen to us every time. You're not going to lose. You're not going to win every basketball game you play.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what do you do with it?
Yeah.
You know, this guy said, move on.
Yeah.
Do something else great.
Yeah.
You know, when they say no, keep going. There's a great story of like in the history books it says when he was 10 years old, he sold candy, he sold tobacco, and then they say that he worked as a lamplighter. And the thing that happened in between that was that he would get arrested because he would stay out late, you know, hanging out with white kids, and his slave owner had to keep coming in and bailing him out. And it was just told as like these things happen. And I was like, lamplighter. Oh, he was trying to stay out late.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, the cops are coming.
Yeah.
Whatever. Oh, the lamplighters, they can stay up all night.
Yeah.
Their time is their own.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, hey, cop, try to arrest me. I'm lighting lamps.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I belong here. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
And you look at it that way, which none of the historians do. But from a black man's perspective, I'm like, oh, he found a way around it.
Yeah.
I need to tell that story because there are always, you know, there are always walls. There are always, you know, chasms. There are always, you know, somebody is against you every minute of your life.
Yeah.
Stand up.
So, throughout this entire process, and you speak with a lot of responsibility here. Beyond now the Kickstarter, beyond the future release that we're waiting for, how else can the fans get involved and how else can we support? Because you know more than anybody else. Like, the money's there, but like there's still a lot more work to be done. Yes, Legion M is involved, but like you still understand there's a lot more work to be done. What can we do as the fans and the audience, the attendees here to further this support?
Well, two things. One is yes, the Kickstarter campaign is really, really important. Please get out of the Kickstarter. Because it's not just about this one issue. It's about, can we continue to tell this story? And for me, every time I stumble on one, with Dr. Eatman, I'm like, wow, there are other stories in here that I need to be telling. For example, he goes to Congress, he runs for Congress, he wins 5 times. Along with him, I was just asking her, like, who else was there? Because it was a time, this glorious time when there was more black people than ever in the history of the United States were in Congress, senators, whatever, congressmen at that time. Who else was there?
Yeah.
And I said, like, let's find 2 that can really tell the story. One was a kind of a backyard preacher, basically illiterate, whatever, but he was a community leader. He ran for Congress and won. Another one was a guy who was the son of a slave owner, who, they shipped him out to England. He became a lawyer, a very prominent lawyer in England. He comes back to Charleston to run for Congress. Hello, Father. I'd like to run for Congress now. Hello, I am a black man running for whatever, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to see that. I absolutely need to see that. So yeah, the Kickstarter campaign, the support, lets us tell all of those stories. And I say, just talk about it. Just talk about it. Like, we are a told story community. We sit around the fire, and at the picnic or whatever, and there is, it's what's beautiful about us that we tell our stories to inspire our children. So tell this story. You don't need the comic book. You don't need anybody. I hate to work against my own best interest, but this story needs to be told.
Right.
And if people want to get the background on it, they can. Because of the excitement of the Kickstarter campaign, Dr. Eatman and I are going to be writing a historical supplement to go along with it, so we can tell the stories that can't fit in the book.
Yeah.
And just go that way. But tell it on the mountain there.
There you go. There you go. Well, listen, I'm very excited for this. This was very inspirational. And Black history is as amazing as it is.
Yes.
We just keep opening up more and more stories.
Yeah.
And
At a time when people don't want us to tell our story.
oh yeah.
You
want to go there,
it
but
is most.
yeah.
It is most important. We have.
Yeah.
It is most important to get up on the highest box you can.
Yeah.
And say, no, we have always, since 1619 we have been here. We have been great.
Yeah.
We have done amazing things.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are millionaires, billionaires. We are,
Yeah.
doctors, lawyers, whatever. We are not who you say we are. We
Yeah.
are who we say we are.
Yeah.
End of story. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for the time today, man. I hope you have a good rest of your San Diego Comic Con.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
You too. Nice meeting you.
Mike.
Thank you.
This is your friend. This is your boy. Hey, how you doing, bro?
Yeah.